Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Wuryawan and today is another everyday photography vlog. I'm here in a restaurant in the countryside as usual, and I'm having dinner with my wife and also my friends, and I thought I want to try to practice a little bit of photography, not just like to get the perfect picture, but more like a practice time so I can better create picture in the future, something like an exercise if you will. And you can check the other vlogs up here, but basically the theme for today's practice is to do nighttime photography with micro four thirds. So a lot of people have been saying that micro four thirds in lower light situation is not that good and you should upgrade to full frame, but today I want to try to debunk that myth, and I'm going to try to take pictures under low light condition. It's already in the evening right now, so it's already really dark, and I brought some lenses with me that have like large aperture and whatnot, so I want to try to practice my nighttime photography with micro four thirds, and hopefully the results will speak for themselves. So in terms of camera gear, I'm keeping it very simple today, just one camera body, the Panasonic GX85, and I'm using two lenses today. One is the Panasonic Leica 15mm f1.7 and the other one is the Laowa 7.5mm f2 ultra wide angle lens. I'm going to try to use those lenses today to create some composition just as an exercise. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not really aiming for the perfect picture, but more like, you know, compositional practice, things like that. So now let's try to take some pictures. Alright, so for our first composition for the night, I was thinking to get a little bit of this kind of paddy field or just a field. I don't know if it's paddy or not, but yeah, that area together with the trees, I think it'll look nice as a composition overall. Not too special, but the whole point of this vlog is again as a practice, not really as to chase the perfect picture. So yeah, I'm using the 15mm f1.7 Panasonic Leica lens. I'm at f1.7 and the camera is the GX85 as I mentioned. Electronic shutter aperture priority at f1.7, and I'm using RAW so that I can preserve the dynamic range and be more flexible with the editing. So all of the pictures that you will see will be raw pictures that I edited in Lightroom with my usual workflow. So yeah, this is the composition that I'm looking for, just the tree and the field, and I'm focusing on the background tree. f1.7, let's capture the image. Nice. Let's try a couple more time just to make sure. Well, we can kind of experiment with what I usually do by crouching to try to get a different kind of relationship between the foreground and background. Let's try to capture that. You tell me in the comment down below which one do you prefer, the one while I'm crouching or the one with me standing up, with more of the foreground, with less of the foreground. I'm going to try to take the picture without the plants in the foreground, just the field and the tree, something like this, right? Really nice. So yeah, with micro four thirds and low light photography, people usually say that it's not compatible because micro four thirds has smaller sensor, so the low light performance is not as good. But I just want to prove today that no, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is your technique, your camera settings, and just the ability to try to capture the image as best as you can. I think that's what's really matter. Right, for the next image, I want to try to capture that building right there with the field as sort of the foreground. Just a simple composition. I don't think it's a very special composition again, but as I said before, this is just a practice. So yeah, still at aperture priority f1.7 auto ISO, and this is the kind of composition that I get. So we have two very bright light source over here that could potentially cause some flares and ghosting in the image, so I will raise my camera a little bit and eliminate them all together. So yeah, problem solving like this is very important when you're doing photography, so you're not just point and shoot at your object, but you think a little bit to try to get the best image as you can. Right, something like that. Alright, for the next composition is just something very simple. I want to try to capture that building with the some of the lamps right here in the foreground as sort of a leading line, maybe Let's try. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't work. Definitely we're getting some flares, as you can see on the screen of the camera right there. You can see some flares. I'm moving it up and down, but I will try to make the flare to be on the upper part of the image so that I can just clone it out later in post-processing. So something like this. I cannot really get the lamps to be the leading line. It doesn't really cause that effect, but nevertheless I will try to capture the picture of the building with the field and the foreground plants and some of the lamps right there. Alright, something like this. Let's try. Very simple one. I think it's nice. Alright, let's try horizontal. We can get a lot more in the image. The buildings with some of the lamps thingy right there. I think it looks nice. I have to be careful with the flare once again. So I'm trying to aim the camera a little bit higher. Alright, so I'm switching lens to the Laowa 7.5mm f2. I already pre-focused the lens to about right there on the hyperfocal mark that I already marked on the lens using, you know, razor. So I'm going to try to capture a wide angle picture of that building with this tree as a foreground, with the field as the midground. I want to check the focus, so please hang on because I'm not carrying the usual DJI bracket this time. Oh yeah, it's already in focus. I'm at f2 right now, aperture priority, so basically the camera will do automatic stuff. Yeah, this is the kind of composition that I want, making the leading line effect with the field. I think it looks kind of nice, and this tree branch right here is adding a nice foreground touch that I really like. So I'm going to try to raise the camera a little bit to kind of modify the relationship between the foreground, midground and background. If I set the camera really low, then the foreground will become very prominent, the midground will basically disappear. If I raise the camera, then you get more of the midground, something like this. Let's try to take the picture. Again, auto ISO, auto everything, aperture priority, but with the manual focus lens, with the manual focusing, it basically just turns into fully automatic. I see right here, I don't know if you can see or not on the vlogging camera, there are some plants right here. I want to try to incorporate this into the image. So let's try to kind of duck down a little bit and try to use them as a foreground. I hope that it will work. Let's try. I'm gonna step back a little bit. I have to be careful because I'm actually in a parking lot right now. Right, so something like this. Let's try. I don't know if you can see what I'm photographing, but I hope you can still see the screen of the camera. So something like this. Hopefully it looks nice. Right. I had a lot of fun using the Laowa lens. It's always my favorite ultra wide angle lens because it's just very easy and nice to use. The large aperture, the compactness of the lens just makes it a really pleasant lens to use. Let's try to experiment with the height of the camera again to try to determine which one is the best for the picture. Maybe something like this. You can see on the sky there's a little bit of clouds. I think it looks nice. It adds into the overall image, I think, and the vertical composition is just really nice. Alright, and that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's video. I hope that today's vlog has been entertaining to you and also inspiring as well. So please comment down below what do you think of today's picture, and also if you have any question, please comment down below as well, and I will try my best to answer them. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video and subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my channel even further, you can use the affiliate links in the description below and use the super thanks button as well. Thank you and see you on the next video. Goodbye.